Yo, well, despite my record, I'm gonna keep going here. This last 2 weeks have been kind of a bummer. This happens every year though, so I'm gonna still go in there and bet. It's just a matter of whether I feel confident enough to share stuff that I'm putting in, because I guess at this point my reputation's on the line with all my subscribers. But you know, it still feels like I still don't feel like I don't know what I'm talking about. Like Packers fucking tie. The Chargers lose to the Giants. I mean, those games are bananas. Uh, so I don't feel that bad so far, but I do kind of feel like it's getting in my head a bit about deciding whether or not I should start. In gambling, you can always like double down, right? Because eventually, if it's a coin flip, it'll come up tails. If it's come up heads, 2 times in a row, 3 times in a row, eventually it'll come up. So you can always just double down. And a team like the Chargers, a team like the Packers, those are teams that I'm actually probably going to start doubling down on. You'll see this week. I know the Packers have a bye, but I'm not buying into the fact that they're not good teams. I'm more buying into the fact that the coaches are playing a little bit too close to the chest, kind of trying to keep the game in front of them, like play mind games and stuff, to just control the ball and not just go out and go for the win and go for the kill. So I think that's a little bit creeping in there, and I think that in the end, killer instinct will take over and these good teams will show and shine. So I'm gonna kind of go back on just fall back on some of my research on who I think is like a team that might be able to play, and not necessarily get all in my head about these over-unders and these refs. I think we've found a lot of teams that are not very good, and I think there's a couple things we'll catch this weekend that'll put us on the right track. In order, I've just got the games in order right now of kickoff time, but I will say right now, I'll remind you of my best bets at the end, but I'll probably key them throughout. But right off the bat, one of my favorite bets this weekend, and I'm kind of getting some kickback on it, but I don't really care. I like the Vikings to cover basically whatever spread they get, and I haven't been high on the Vikings this year, but I will stand on this, and that's that playing in Europe is not as simple as everybody thinks that flying from Miami to LA is. It's just not. And the Vikings are boots on the ground. They've been there for 2.5 weeks now. They're acclimated. They've built up, they've gone and done PR. They built that fan base up again. Everyone there loves them. They've always loved the Vikings. They feel kindred to them. So in a way, and you can't reject why. So it was honestly a pretty sharp play last week to catch the Vikings. If you went +3, I know it's a push, but they were going to play well in Europe. So now I believe they will play well again, and they might play better. And then again, everybody's talking about Flores versus Gabriel. He doesn't necessarily know what he's coaching up against, but he can pretty much put together a little game plan based on this kid's limitations and his expectations. And I don't see him getting beat up by the Browns with their quarterback switch before international games. So I'm going Vikings as one of my best bets this week, and all based on honestly location, travel. I know it's asking a lot, because it's not much backing. I know the Browns have the most dominant and disruptive force in football right now, but leave me with the Vikings. Obviously, I'm minus the points. I'm losing the hook there, but this week I'm not going to worry about buying points. You want to buy points, buy points. Buying the hook there is probably a good idea, but I'm not going to get all caught up in that. I'm just going to go straight up picks against the spread. No more money lines of these favorites and this bullshit that's been happening. Next game, I got Cowboys going to New York, And honestly, I think the Cowboys are on a high right now. After winning last week, after having that overtime win with all that scoring, again, I think that they're like a couple plays away at wide receiver from actually like having the success this year that they would want at this point. Being like at least 2-2, or at least 3-1 maybe in a certain case. But I'm going Cowboys -2 against the Jets. Sauce Gardner talking about, the refs are picking on me because we're losing. The number one way to get picked on by the refs is to start telling them that they're picking on you. Start whining. They're going to watch you every play. So good luck with that. Doesn't matter, CeeDee Lamb, yeah, he's out, but they have two number one receivers, and that was always their plus. Now they have one. They're going to look different, but they're going to be able to play football. Turbin is fine as a 2, and they can work stuff in the slot. They're going to be all right. Next, on my picks starts right away afternoon games. I only have 2 morning games I like tomorrow. I stayed off the Indianapolis game. I'm sorry. 7 points. The points swung. I don't know. I don't like it. Everyone likes it, so I don't like it. That's what I'm starting to do too. Is just like I'm taking a deeper dive into other talking heads a little bit. And I found that, when I do my research after my picks, I'm on the same page as everybody. And when I do my research before my picks, I'm a lot of times on the same page as everybody. So maybe I need to just get on my own page. So we're dropping that one. Everybody's on Indy. And we're going Bucks out in Seattle +3.5. This line actually being the sharp line that it is, being +3.5 rather than +3. The Bucks are getting -120, so you're actually kind of losing a little bit there in a lot of books, but I'll take that hook right there because, again, I just think that this is one of those games. Godwin's getting his feet back. Baker's always going to be able to sling the ball around. I think this is one of these games where, yeah, everybody wants to talk about it being, the trend is to be a popcorn game. Well, yeah, they happen, and it's okay sometimes that we guess right. So I'm going popcorn there, and they've been in every game by 1 possession, just like last week. I think they lost by 6 points or some weird spread like 5 or something, 26-21, whatever it was. But the Bucks keep it close, keep it 1 possession. I mean, if I lose and if they lose by 6 again, and I lose this one, I can't be that mad. Again, it's 1 possession is the difference, or 1 touchdown at the end of a drive rather than a field goal. I mean, it's a swing that could have happened at any time in the game. So Bucks plus a point, half a point because it's 3.5, half a touchdown. I'll take them. Next game, this is what I was telling you about before. The way that I see the season playing out long term, and the way that I saw it playing out long term when I was in the preseason. Certain teams show like what trend and what type of play is going to be good long term, and like coming into the season, I was like, first 2 games I was like, boom, Chargers look really, really good. They got to believe it. I said that about Indianapolis too. I was like, wow, like now that they're like a methodical, now that they're marching down the field, they kind of look better than they would when they have those explosive play potential. So we're all expecting Harbaugh to have this sort of methodology to coaching that's gonna like get him prolonged success in this league. But at this point, it's been a lot of slinging the ball. I know when they played the Raiders, they played it pretty conservative. I think it was only like 21-6 was the final score. They didn't try to press it for more scoring, so they kind of brought it into the run game like I was thinking that he would do all year. But I really feel like he's trying to play mind games to where, again, like he's controlling the game, and then all of a sudden you're only up by 2 possessions, and you can give up 2 possessions, 2 scores at any moment. So I think at some point the other shoe has to drop for him. He has to decide, like, okay, we have to score. Every drive we have to score. We can't just run the ball 6 times in a row and pick up 11, then 8, and not get the first down and be good with that, because that's where we are in the game. We're up by 2 possessions, and taking 2 first downs off the clock in time and blah 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 puts us in a 6-minute drive. So that's actually a win for us if we punt and put them down on the 3 and blah blah blah. No, it's like, yeah, I get the analytics of like controlling the game pace or whatever, but I just feel like they've looked too good in moments to allow for this like step back. Like I don't feel like they think that they're any worse. I don't think that they think that they're worse than they were when they started the season. I just think that they are like, we got to make a slight change in how we approach these games. And I think that they will do that. Make a change in their approach and go for the throw and stop, I don't know. It's like he came out slinging the ball at the beginning of the season. It's hard to understand his methodology because he came out throwing the ball at the beginning of the season almost like, since everybody knows I'm Harbaugh, I'm going to run. I'm going to show you that I don't have to. And that kind of worked, threw everybody off. And then I don't know if like they just stopped having as much success. I know they've had a couple injuries on the O-line, but it's like once they played the Raiders, they kind of brought everything back in because they had so much control in that game. And since then, they haven't been able to break back out into that sort of like free-flowing offense. I don't know. It just hasn't looked good for the Chargers. But I'm doubling down on the Chargers, and I'm going to double down next weekend if they lose again because, it's the third weekend in a row that I would have expected them to have a win. And, even to the point where, I might not even check their stat as the game's going on, not even get to watch until the highlights and see kind of like the big plays and stuff and go back and do film study. But, yeah, it just hasn't – they just are too good to look like this, record-wise. So I hope they get that turned around. Chargers -3 all day over the Commanders. And, I know I'm fading. I think Jaden Daniels. Oh no, I think he might still be out. Regardless, they got to figure some stuff out. Chargers are they're ready to get it back on track. Big bet here, Lions. Be careful. I'm going Lions minus the full 10. I think the Lions should score every which way on the Bengals, and I don't think the Bengals should be able to score on the Lions. I mean, I imagine Jamar Chase is going crazy in practice like all week right now, just, up in everybody's ass. That's what receivers do. So I'm certain that, he'll have his maybe even like 80 to 100 something yards. But I'm banking on that resulting in maybe one score. But again, not touching these over-unders. I don't care if it's 35-14. But I don't want to see this, 21 and rest on our laurels. I think that the Lions offense is the type of offense that'll be like, when we have 35 points, then we can beat anybody in this league. Because that's pretty much what it is. I mean, if you fart around at 24, you're about to lose. That's the NFL, outside of playing the Browns. But, that's a threshold for like half these offenses. It's like if they can get to 24, they got a chance to win. But the elite offense, it's like where the Packers should be, where the fucking Bills want to be. They're talking about, 38, 35 points, and we can put the backup running back in. Or keep, let Cook take his helmet off on the sideline or put the jacket on. But I mean, even then, but they're past. And that brings us to finally, the Bills, -8 at the Patriots. I don't know, no tricks here. It's like, no, I'm sick of this bullshit. No sharp play here. No, this is business trip. This is a business trip that they make every year. This is a business trip that they've been making successfully, and no, they got the clamps. I think that the Bills can play. Maybe they're trying to stay even keel on the season, but I think that there's certain opponents where, all blockers are on all week, and if this is the year that they're going to do something special, then they go into a place like this and they get the win that they need, and they keep all this home field and everything, their whole perfect season, their easy schedule, keep it right on track. So, I didn't even mention. So back there, the Lions are my best bet. And we're going to go Bills as well in the night game. I know it's like, especially watching this week Thursday night game, which was atrocious. I was really convinced that I would see a Rams team that was ready to play. And I don't know what Salah did or what they what kind of, whether they've been playing zone offense all year and then they came out and ran like power eye man like schemes. Like, I don't know what they switched up that the Rams weren't ready for, but like with the Rams, everybody's just been talking about how good the Rams are, and for that to happen to them. How could I take the Bills -8? Fade it, If you don't like it, fade it. I'm saying these picks are coming in hot. We've gone 0-6 before, but I've also gone 6-0 before. So believe it or not, out of everything on the board, people are talking about maybe the Jags might be a good upset play, or I think if you had to do like the pick 'em pool, where like no matter what, my number one pick is probably the Lions of all these plays. Though I feel the Bills have kind of the similar odds to get the win. There's no time. The NFL is over these days of like leaving yourself 8 points to get a win. Like, it's too risky. It's for these teams who want to be successful. A one possession spread scares a 7-point spread scares the coach as much as a 3-point spread does, because all they're saying is that in the end of the game you're going to be 1 point away, and I don't see these teams that want to consider themselves elite as like allowing that to happen in the long run. They're like, no, like, yeah, I mean, that's disrespect to them. If at any after if one fumbled ball or one interception or one miscue on a special teams could lead to them losing to a team that is like not even in the same, like, you're in the top 5 in the league and they're like in the bottom bottom 10, and you don't think that they can win by more than 1 point in a 2-point conversion. So I think we're going to get to that point in the season where, it's business, and teams I'm going to start doubling down on some of the teams that I think are going to be successful long term. So I'm not afraid to go back in on the Packers. I think that they're going to come out of the bye week and get a fucking W. So they better. All right. Sorry for the delay. Again, trying to absorb more information. Drop the square stuff. I guess it's not square. It's mostly sharp people I'm hearing it from, but just doesn't feel right to just be always on the same page and see, oh, that's a sharp line, that's where we can get them, and it's like we all keep thinking that, we all keep getting beat. So enjoy the games.